I like you, Chris.
Yeah, not many people do.
Did you tell them about your truck? Because if they know about the truck, they would like you a lot more. That's what makes you really cool.
I appreciate it.
I slid in his DMs. Like, this is a true story. I slid in his DMs because I saw this truck. I didn't even know if he was a guy, a girl, immigrant. I didn't know what he was. I just said, this truck needs to be with us on the trail in Utah, because we talk about this in Fieldcraft Outpost. Long haul supply is like the long haul, like things that are doing the long haul. Yodas are making the long haul. And this truck, I didn't even know existed, because there's variations of this in America, obviously. A Hilux, I had this 83, same truck, but the longer bed, the shorter bed, and two different platforms, but I've never seen a crew cab version of it. But you managed to find the only one I've ever seen. You said there's two in the country, right?
That I know of. There's 2 left-hand drive ones. As far as I know, there's maybe 14 right-hand drive ones, and they're mostly in the Pacific Northwest. So 16 of them maybe, but it's definitely a gem.
The Hilux is like classic. We're gonna get a 90s Hilux for you guys. If you haven't subscribed to Fieldcraft Outpost, make sure you do. I'll leave it down in the descriptions down below. But we did a video going on this epic trip with your buddy Luke. We went out with like this broke FCJ 80, like this really horrible 80 that just broke down all the time, overheated and stuff. It was cool, it's Andy's stuff. But this thing was the gem of the 3 of the vehicles. I won't even talk about the Raptor, Yeti's Raptor, that was horrible. This thing thrived in all the environments, never overheated.
No, it got a little warm, but it wasn't a concern.
Yeah, it was 103 degrees too,
Yeah,
when
exactly.
we were trailing. But you got a cool story about this. I wanted to do a walk around. This crew cab was picked up overseas because of your family, right?
Yeah, I was visiting my father in Panama. Oh, he moved there. He's from Argentina. And before I was about to fly home, I figured I'd check Facebook Marketplace one last time, as one would, and saw this for 1,500 bucks. Figured I'd talk them down because it was expensive. They didn't put up an argument at all. They went to $1,300. I was actually on, like, the plane already took off, you know? So I was kind of like, this needs to happen. Like, I'm gonna, heaven and earth to this happen.
This will happen.
Yeah, exactly.
My destiny is
Yeah,
this.
so I actually told my dad about it. I was like, this is gonna sound like an outrageous idea, but I found a rusty box that I want you to go buy, and I'll send you some money. The family, they only spoke Spanish. You know, they're just like a local poor family of the mountains in Panama. And he's like, yeah, give me a few days, I'll head over there. And I was like, no, you need to do it now. Like, I don't know who's gonna buy this thing. Like, it needs to happen. So he did it. He followed through, which is awesome. The history of the truck is, I'm the second owner. It lived on a coffee plantation farm for most of it, probably 25 years, and then it got passed down to his son. And then his son just turned it into a daily commuter for his family. They decided to post it, so I got lucky enough to find it.
$1,300 in Panama.
Yeah.
So $1,300, you bought it. We spent like 100 grand to get it shipped here.
Plus or minus, yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive to ship, but what, 5 grand?
5 years ago, at the time I lived in Fort Myers, so like the Port of Miami is right there. So it wasn't that far to go. 5 or 6 grand, yeah.
So you're all in it, 6 grand.
Yeah, 6,500 bucks or something.
Oh man. A lot of guys don't know this, but the Hilux in the early 80s, all early Toyota pickup trucks were titled, and mine was registered as a Hilux. Their early SR5, the 83 that I had, the short box in Colorado, it said Hilux on it. But Hilux, when I think of Hilux, I think turbo diesel, and I think this era of vehicle with the quad cab, with the crew cab, because not a lot of people remember our trucks, single cabs, as being Hilux, but this is a Hilux, and it does have a turbo diesel engine, and it is crew cab.
Yes.
What turbo diesel engine was in it when you picked it up?
The Toyota L Series 2.2 liter diesel.
Yeah.
Mechanical injection. It was a great engine. It was just tired. It had 900,000 kilometers on it.
600,000 miles.
Yeah, that's about what it transfers to.
How do you do that in Panama? Panama's like the size of
it's small. It's
just going back and forth.
Just running coffee back and forth, and maybe other stuff too, you know, probably.
Probably. Let's go through front to back some of the things that you did, but we have a picture. Let's put up this picture of the vehicle when you got it. So it didn't look like this.
No.
It was a box.
Oh, absolutely.
He is a former Marine, Chris is, and he gave me a bumper sticker.
The Rifleman's Creed, yeah.
The Rifleman's Creed, but it's for boxes, and I'm a box aficionado. All right, let's go through it. What's the first thing that you did when you picked it up?
The very first thing I did, I pulled the headliner, strangely enough.
It had a headliner in it?
It was rough. It had all that dried foam that would just fall down every time the wind blows. You'd breathe it in. So I was like, that's got to go immediately.
Yeah.
So I started tearing apart the interior, the floorboards, pulling the carpet, assessing the damage, really. It was pretty extensive. Pulling the interior out, the door cards, just seeing like where the rust is at, where I need to start digging into, because it was pretty overwhelming. Like, it was a clusterfuck. honestly. It took me a while to get organized on how I was like going to approach this, but
You disassembled the whole thing
off
the frame.
Yeah, I mean, every single bolt was in different places.
Nice.
The first big project I probably did was cut the floorboards out, redo all that. Thankfully, eBay, you can buy single cab floorboards.
40 bucks.
Like, I think it was like 150 bucks, but for this truck, either way, like I was cool with that. And then it reached a little past the back seat and I just had to add some steel to finish the rest. It worked out pretty good, but there was all kinds of rust all around the window sills. You could still see some of the like rust restoration paint I put on it, but I rebuilt all the window sills around here, up there, on that corner, the side windows.
All this patina's the original stickers and stuff that was on it, right?
All original. That was another big debate on what I want to do with this and what direction I want to take it is, do I want to fully restore it, repaint it, make it beautiful, or do I want to leave it with all the character?
People will buy these stickers and put them on and make them look distressed just to make it look like an old beat up pickup truck. Let's pop the hood on it. So you had this engine in there. Do you still have that engine?
I do. I'm gonna keep it because it shares a lot of similarities with this one. It's the same block.
And what's this engine?
This is out of a Hilux Surf, 2.4 liter turbo, 2LT. It's pretty much a direct drop in. That's why I went with this. I got some recommendations on the internet to purchase this specific engine because the ease of installation.
Did these go in more modern Hiluxes? Is that where
Hilux.
It was only the Surf, which is the
Yeah.
SUV, like the 4Runner version of
Correct.
this.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware.
But direct swap.
The only thing I had to do was move the transmission cross member. I moved it back maybe like 2 inches. But other than that, the motor mounts, everything fit perfectly. I had to go with a electric fan because the mechanical fan, there wasn't enough room for it. But I prefer the electric fan anyways because I can turn it off when I want to. Like if I'm crossing some water, I can turn it off and then it's not blowing water everywhere, you know, and it's not gonna damage the fan blades hitting the water.
All analog too.
Yeah. Oh, it's all, yeah, everything, every single thing on this truck's on a switch. There's no computer, even the alternator's on a switch.
I love that, man.
Which is great because sometimes I forget to turn it on.
This bumper looks like it was like a first gen or maybe an early 4Runner bumper.
That is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is it a trail gear?
It's LC Engineering.
LC Engineering?
Yep.
That's a fancy bumper. This bumper costs more than this truck.
Yeah, just about, honestly.
So you went with Badland. Why Badland?
I've had this winch for a little while and
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with it. I know like Harbor Freight gets kind of crapped on a lot, but lately they've been putting out good stuff. This winch has a Bluetooth controller, which I love, and recently I lost. So,
But you lost it on the trail, right?
I think it's on the road heading to the trail. So I'm just gonna keep an eye out.
Yeah,
But-
keep an eye out for that.
No, I just discovered that the controller for the rear winch, if I plug it into a wire, which is an option, the controller still works for this one. So as a last resort, at least it still functions.
What'd you do with the suspension setup? Because there is some modifications suspension-wise, right?
Yeah, that's a touchy subject because I'm not happy with it. No, I went with Rough Country 3-inch lift.
Rough Country makes a kit for this?
It's the kit for the single cab. It's just, it fits this truck.
Oh.
It's okay suspension, it does what it's supposed to. My problem is the high steer kit that I have and the lift, that combination screws with the geometry of the steering cross members and it hits my oil pan. So recently I just put some bump stops to prevent that. I plan on cutting the oil pan, notching it out so I have more clearance. Once I put bigger tires on this truck, it's gonna help out too.
And you're running 33s right now?
Yeah.
Okay. The interior, you did some modifications, very tasteful, cool leather seats. You obviously dynamatted or kill-matted everything, which is essential in these because it's thin metal. Big upgraded improvement doing that.
With vibration, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do that with all the rigs that we have because it's the only thing mechanically that I'm inclined to do because it's the only thing that I can actually do well.
Yeah.
Everything else I suck at. I can lay down some dynamat though. What's the story with these seats?
The rear seats are original. I just had them reupholstered and I tried to match them from these super high quality Amazon front seats.
These are Amazon seats?
Yeah.
Whoa, these are fancy. How much did you pay for these, remember?
350 bucks. So they look the part. We'll see how long they play the part.
And then you dash matched it with some fabric that you'd
Yeah.
shoe glued to the dash?
Yeah, that was a nightmare. I'm not an upholstery guy, so that's why it looks like that.
It's beautiful. Look at these lines. Julian, look at this.
Oh.
Look at the crisp lines of this. It's beautiful. Craftsmanship right here.
Oh, thank you.
And then you have your stereo system.
Yeah.
Which is
high
also
quality, yeah.
Yeah.
It's mobile, you know?
I love that.
I like modularity.
But you did a cluster swap.
Yeah, that's not original. I've gone through 3 different clusters just to try to find the right one.
Yeah.
I've always had like wiring issues with the ones that I found. The original one, the circuit board on the back is kind of like a plastic, you know, like a plastic sheet.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, so like the connections are burnt out and stuff. I tried to repair it, but it was, at the time, 5 years ago, it was a little bit beyond my skill and knowledge and patience. So I ended up just buying another one on eBay. It works. It reads a lot less miles, which is cool. So
yeah, hey man, it's up to your imagination. Whatever whatever it says. Is
I have
what
the original one at home with 900,000. So I'm gonna put it up on the shelf, you know, as like a little trophy.
That is pretty cool. So interior wise, didn't do anything else because it didn't need it. I mean, besides, like the shifter and everything else.
Yeah, the interior is my like last big project on this truck. I gotta fine tune it.
Door cards, you can get first gen 4Runner or SR5 early 79 to 83 door cards, like plastic. There's a whole bunch of options right for you.
I haven't looked into them too much so far. They do sell like the first gen pickups. There's a bunch of people that make them and upholster them however you want.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do that. And
like
then
a custom.
Yeah. The issue I'm gonna run into is the rear doors. I'm gonna have to either do it myself or make a template and send the template to the person to reupholster it to match the front. That's like a little hurdle I have to overcome.
All right, we're in the rear of the truck, and this is a short bed. And what we figured out, I think this is true. Let us know in the comments below. But a single cab that runs a long bed, they'll utilize the same frame. So this is the same frame, right? The same wheelbase. As
far as I know, I'd have to fact check
it
that,
seems like the wheelbase
sure.
is the same as my long bed.
Yeah, I would imagine, but I'm just not too sure on that.
Yeah. So short bed, and then you got it all kitted out. What is all this stuff? Why did you decide to go like this route? Modularity wise?
I like the soft topper just because if I need to stand up back there, I can fold it down really easily. Depending on the weather, I can roll it up, roll the sides up, or roll them down, you know, if it's raining or snowing, especially being in Wyoming. If it's snowing, then I can protect it all, not have to worry about snow getting in there. Plus it looks cool.
It looks rad. The soft toppers are cool. I had this on one of my 86's first gen runners, and it was awesome. Real tight fabric wise, you got to stretch it out, let it get in the sun, but really cool and not horribly expensive for what you get compared to a topper.
Yeah, this is a Facebook Marketplace find too. So
that's the way to go.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, you just need to redo the adhesive, I'm sure.
Yeah, the little weather stripping down there.
Yeah, the bumpers on the rear. This looks like you welded it yourself.
Probably about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, just finished it up. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I mocked it off of my 2017 Tacoma. I have a similar bumper from At the Helm Fabrication, ATH Fabrication.
Yeah.
It's almost identical, and I love the design. It protects the truck. So I figured I'm just gonna do the same thing. But the reason why I added this wasn't part of the original plan. The panels, the original panels that were part of the bed down here, they're notorious for rusting out. And for about a year or two, I've been like dreading like that little project. So trying to find solutions to that. A bunch of people reached out to me on Instagram that this is essentially a single cab long bed. Like this bed is a long bed from a single cab. They just cut the front of it. So the rear end is the same. So if I could source panels from a long bed, I could just put them back on there. But that was difficult. I just had a few beers one day and I decided, you know, I'm just gonna chop it off. And then that's when I added that. And it actually turned out really good.
It looks great. And you used to be a wildland firefighter.
Wildland instructor.
And now you're moving over to a different.
Yeah, doing a little career path. I wanna get more into fabrication. I mean, over the last 5 years, this thing's kind of changed a lot for me. Like the passion of it, you know? And then like making this, like seeing this come to fruition and how it turned out, like, you know, I want to build more stuff for these trucks. These trucks are definitely my passion, so I'm just gonna try to pursue it.
Are you about to cry right now?
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. I see all the labor of love that you put into it, and what's cool is it's naturally patinaed the way it should be. It's not overdone, it's just as it is, but it's just got the right modifications to like smoke, especially Yeti's Raptor. That thing, oh my gosh. We couldn't even get through the parking lot. He broke down like a foot off the parking lot in the sand, like got stuck in the sand in that thing, and this thing just crushed it. So it's like 150,000 already, 150? 1.5?
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 versus a 1,300 shit box that just gets it done. And that's why I think, you know, this series that we're doing on Fieldcraft Outpost is old versus new. We're not just gonna do vehicles, we're gonna do motorcycles, all kinds of stuff. A lot more people are getting more invested and involved in going back to analog, like the trucks we grew up in.
Yeah.
Like the Back to the Future truck, right?
It lasts longer, it's easier to fix, it's more cost efficient, and you can't beat it, you know? If you have an issue on the trail and you need to fix it there, you don't have to pull a million parts off just to get to that one part. So yeah, it's hard to beat.
Oh yeah, you winched. You recovered Yeti's $1.5 million Raptor.
Yes, I need his truck emblem to just slap it on the side of mine as a badge of honor.
Yeah, you need to do like the World War II bombers. We'll have the logos of all the vehicles that you recovered that are going to be from Ford Raptors, and you just put all the stickers here.
Yeah, they're probably mostly going to be Broncos. So.
Mostly Broncos.
Yeah.
What's wild is Chris actually offered to sell this to me for $2,500 for our nonprofit we just started yesterday for Fieldcraft Outpost, giving back to Bronco owners across America. I mean, I love your truck, man. You have social media. It's funny, I didn't even know what you looked like, because the only thing I looked at was pictures of your truck.
I mean, same here, you know?
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, you started sending me selfies after the initial contact, and I was like, why is he sending selfies? It says view photo. I didn't open any of those, and they were just pictures of you. I
was like, check me out, man. Look at me.
I'm a real man. I was like, no, your truck's real. And he came along with his buddy Luke, former Army captain. It was real cool, man, because we got to shoot this. We had a whole bunch of epic adventures together in a very short period of time, by the way, consolidated. And that video is linked in the description down below. And it was super cool seeing what this thing was capable of. What's the plan and what's next for this truck?
The next big, I mean, there's a bunch of small projects, but like the biggest things I want to focus on is the suspension and the steering geometry. The oil pan's probably happening in the next week or two. Like, that has to happen. I got to get rid of those stupid bump stops. I only have 2 inches of upward travel, that's no bueno.
Yeah, generally speaking. And just in life in general, you don't, 2 inches of any up travel, you ain't doing anything.
Not good, yeah, it's not good. And then eventually I'm gonna put this thing back on 35s because it just looks really mean. And it'll make my departure angle a little better.
Yeah, you could have probably did that first obstacle on the down with more clearance, right?
I think it would have done it. Probably would have.
Barely.
The front bumper probably would have hit the ground like a little bit, whatever, that's why it's there. But the rear bumper definitely would have skipped across the rock, but that's also why that's there. So,
yeah.
Like, it could have done it. It would have just dragged ass.
Yeah, I love it, man. What's your social handles?
The truck Instagram is The Lost Road, _Lost_Road. As far as content for the truck, it's purely just Instagram right now.
Are you not doing YouTube?
Not yet. I'm probably going to.
You should do YouTube, man.
Yeah,
in fact, we're going to apply so much pressure to this. By the time this video is dropped, Chris said he's going to have his YouTube channel up and running. And he'll have the first video up, so when we share it, we can cross-promote his channel, because he's going to be doing fabrication, like Elevated Fab Works and all these guys, and he'll be blowing the internet up with all his cool fabrications. And then I will get free bumpers for life, because I promoted his channel up front. I'm thinking long-term, because we got plenty of Hilux projects to go. I love this, man. I appreciate you coming out. And
I appreciate you inviting me.
Former Marine and now future fabricator.
Pretty much. That sums it up.
I love it, man. All right, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Until next time, check it out, subscribe, all that stuff. And make sure you check out the links down below, and then follow him on Instagram and his YouTube channel, his new YouTube channel. Later, guys.